To begin, I would like to apologize for my past transgressions, and take this time to better explain myself, my actions, and the work in which I care deeply for. Why am I here? Why am I even here? What is my purpose for being here? Well, I suppose then that we should begin at the beginning. Why am I here? Well, my parents conceived me late summer 1986, and I was not consulted prior. Per Heidegger, I was Dasein, thrown into the world against its volition. The sunrise of my life was comprised of many situations in which the freedoms that this fine country has granted me are superseded, and ultimately received as superficial. The discourse is framed by societal pressures. I was enrolled in school. Throughout my pre-collegiate career, myself and many others were battered with onslaughts of biased facts, creating a cloud of selective learning. I spent my days bored and would draw instead of taking notes, convinced I could learn by ear. My schoolmates and I grasped what we could from how our families had taught us to listen and respond. We humans are just so impressionable. The fear of what happened in life after high school was ever looming for me. The acknowledgement of further education became more necessary. Taught of the most basic freedoms, yet denied any real semblance of opportunity, times were rough before mobile internet access. Man was forced to interact with his environment, and man was forced to think. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just wanted to play video games, or tennis, or go to Cub Scouts, or watch Saturday Night Live reruns, or skateboard, or talk on AOL Instant Messenger. These early activities taught me the basics of reflex, strategy, and intuition. As hard as my father would try to inspire me to work harder, I just didn't have the drive, and thus I needed more time. College was necessary. I picked the University of South Florida, even though it isn't in South Florida, because it was far enough away from home, Orlando, that I was free. Also, Tampa is a southern mecca in the skateboarding world, so I knew the art and the music scene would be to my liking. It was the best and worst thing I could have done. It wasn't until 2010 that I actually started caring about school. Prior to then, I did not consider myself anything, yet alone an artist. I was not in constant practice. I would just doodle from time to time. And school was still the only reason I had made anything. Richard Ollinger's Real World class was a renaissance for me. He said something to the tune of, if you aren't trying your hardest, you might as well not even be here. To succeed, you must be the best at the mediocre. Because I respond to fear, this was the beginning of the end of my social life. Everyone wants approval, to be liked, to like their own self. The ways in which people find approval varies enigmatically. As a function of success, the popularity of a business usually parallels its sustainability and growth. However, there will always be critique and rivalry in this post-contemporary modernist time. Process and concept are both important in business, as well as professional learning, which is a business. Throughout time, art has evolved, and in such variations in just the past 100 years. While living in a recessed corporate 21st century America, the way to survive as an artist is to not give up, make sure your work is accessible, and retain some lucrative skills that keep you off the street. There are many purposes to a college degree. Important for me is what I've had the opportunity to learn, create, and foster. Video became a visual language, a metaphor for creation and time. The moving image is one of the few mediums that require the viewer to invest time in order to collect the information to discern its message. Advances in technology have allowed directors to become acclaimed, failed gods, and they just keep getting better by building off the past. The director curates the world, luring the public into investing time stemming from critical acclaim. The decisions made reflect their identity, and in my case, each video represents a different insecurity refracted and imposed on the viewer in time. Common to all humans is insecurity. While my prior video collage work had become stagnant in the sense of serial repetition of dense appropriated imagery, it worked wonders as a litmus test for the limits of human anxiety, patience, and more important, resilience. I believe the use of multi-channel video, as in The Fountain, Patience is a Virtue, recontextualizing the viewer, activates the viewer's anxiety as they attempt to find comfort in an unfamiliar terrain. Thus, the corporation of video works better to forward the concept that prior work had aimed to conquer singularly. The internet facilitates the accessibility of my work. Digital is an extremely popular media choice for reasons of cost and audience range. But paramount to audience range is the facet of social networking to digital media. The spread of work in this way may decrease the necessity of seeing the work in person. In some cases, it reduces the work's critique to anti-academic likes, favorites, and shares. On the other hand, this can be used to make the exhibition of the work more interesting so that it draws people away from the computer appetizer that had previously been teased. In short, I hope you cherish what is important to you, and I hope you enjoy my presentation. Stay classy.